This was not anticipated. What began as a few gossip websites, rumors, has now grown into a major media frenzy. Music. The entertainment industry reportedly reacted with amazement when Tamar Braxton formally filed a harassment case against music Mendeecees. Fans are shocked by the revelation. The corporation is split and social media is in disarray. How could these two's relationship have gotten so out of hand? And how could Yandy, who was once regarded as one of the strongest women on reality TV, music, cry uncontrollably and purportedly file for divorce when the truth music came to light? According to sources, the incident played out like a melancholic music film, full of unexpectedness, betrayal, and poignancy. Thanks to screenshots, music comments, and voice notes from alleged witnesses, this is one of the most talked about stories in recent memory. Loyalty, motivations, and the limits between fame and suffering music are all examined. Yandy's life appears to be collapsing while music is unfolding in real time as Tamar allegedly files a lawsuit. The public split between her and Mendeecees has upset those who believed they were a power couple. Why is everyone now against Mendeecees? What actually transpired with music behind those closed doors? Hold on tight because this story is becoming more and more disjointed. Music. When the initial charges emerged, the entertainment industry as a whole froze. On gossip blogs, the startling revelation that Tamar Braxton had sued Mendeecees for harassment started to spread. The news swiftly surfaced on all of the main websites as purported court records were linked to what Kate had previously written off as a fake rumor. The admirers were shocked by what they read. Mendeecees, who had publicly pledged loyalty, music, and atonement throughout his absence, was now charged with a crime that could permanently damage his image. According to the charges, the incident occurred weeks ago at a posh hotel in Los Angeles, during what was supposed to be a relaxed business meeting. Music. Tamar reportedly attended a covert meeting with management and producers to discuss possible partnerships for her next album. After visiting the same location for unrelated purposes, attendees allegedly joined the group later that evening. At first, nobody noticed it because celebrities frequently gathered in these locations. However, as the evening wore on, something shifted. Music. According to witnesses, Tamar and the Mendeecees were at conflict, and Tamar seemed to be becoming more uneasy. Music. An online insider claims that Tamar discreetly left the celebration and went to her room, perhaps to rest. It was soon discovered, though, that Mendeecees had been seen strolling along the same corridor. After that, the specifics got hazy and contradicting reports from various sources surfaced. Later, according to others, Tamar called Music, her aide, out of desperation. Others asserted that nothing occurred. Tamar had definitely filed a lawsuit, regardless of what had transpired, and the situation was dire. Social media went bananas when the news broke. When Tamar's music name appeared on Instagram and Twitter hashtags, fans divided into two groups. Some people applauded Tamar Music for having the courage to speak up and demand justice, and others voiced their unshakable support for her. However, several questioned the timing, saying it was too abrupt or odd. Tamar, I love music, but there's an issue. A fan posted on Twitter. Why now? Music. Thousands of videos and comments examined all points of view as the debate grew more heated by sunrise. Don't question a woman's pain just because the man is famous, the song said. However, Yandy was experiencing an unforeseen nightmare. Like everyone else, she reportedly learnt about the lawsuit online. Those close to her said that after being startled by the articles, she began to music cry. On her blog, one of Yandy's pals expressed her belief that Mendeecees had evolved. She trusted and loved their music family. Thousands of screenshots had previously been taken of Yandy's most recent Instagram story, which had the words "hurt beyond words" on a plain music black background. The story disappeared after a day. As the situation deteriorated, entertainment media attempted to obtain official statements. Music. In response to Yandy's music total lack of updates on her website, noting, "This is her worst fear come true." According to Tamar's staff, everything will be handled by her solicitors. In the interim, Camp Mendeecees issued a brief statement. Music refuting any misconduct. The internet was incensed by Mendeecees' claim that she respects all women and has never harassed them, and it proclaimed the accusations to be completely false. The internet was looking for information, proof, music, or anything that would show who was telling the truth. A gossip podcast that purported to have exclusive information from someone who was there that evening fueled the fire. The presenter claimed that Tamar was furious when she left the event, and hotel employees attested to the fact that there had been an altercation outside her suite. It was difficult to tell if music was a story or if something was genuine. An unidentified video clip music that went popular online exacerbated the issue. Mendeecees were supposedly caught by a cheap security camera at Tamar's music hotel entrance. It didn't matter if the tape's authenticity couldn't be confirmed. The story was already starting to take shape in people's thoughts when they music saw it. Over the course of the days, Tamar's quiet revealed a lot. She avoided making any public appearances, didn't post, and didn't reply to comments. Tamar's close pal claims that Tamar is heartbroken. She's not going down, though. Her comment alone sparked a fresh conversation about music. She would rather the facts be made public in court than on social media. Supporters claimed that the music reminded them of Tamar's numerous triumphs over public setbacks such as sadness, music, controversy, and betrayal. But this time, the suffering was deeper, more music powerful, and more intimate. A few days later, Mendeecees was seen trying to maintain composure while grimacing angrily as he left a courthouse. Photographers yelled questions at him, but he ignored them. Music One reporter asked, "Did you really harass Tamar?" While another asked, "Is Yandy abandoning you?" His silence merely encouraged speculation. By that evening, there were indications that Yandy was considering divorce and that Mendeecees Music had scheduled a conference with his attorneys. At this point, Yandy's world fell apart. She reportedly got into a public argument. While attempting to deal with the strain and humiliation of her marriage, she has been crying all the time, according to one of her acquaintances. And she can't even look at her phone without seeing her husband's name associated with something terrible. Yandy is music upset, according to an insider. She is at a loss for words. Music the reality show recreated a scenario from a previous episode where Yandy sobbed and said they had never been able music to trust anyone. "I love him, but love doesn't erase," she had said. Mistakes. As the tension music increased, fans started looking for signs of marital problems. People Music kept reenacting that scene, relating it to the current charges. Conversations with Mendeecees and Yandy revealed that the industry's reaction in the past was equally strong, with producers who had previously collaborated with Tamar expressing their support online and several of Mendeecees' peers advising against making snap judgments. Music Another reality star went on, "Everyone Music needs to calm down because we don't yet know the whole story." However, the warning was ignored. By the end of the week, since the word was spreading faster than anyone could stop and social media was already taking music sides, Yandy reportedly packed up her items and left the family home while sporting dark glasses and a hooded sweatshirt. She seemed to be music depressed as she walked into a hotel and was captured on camera by photographers. Many People Music commented on the photo after it went viral, saying things like, "She deserves peace and you can't heal where you're hurt." However, some believe Yandy was exploiting the situation to get famous, which her fans quickly refuted. Mendeecees' stoic denials, Music Tamar's subdued power, and Yandy's evident suffering gave the scene the appearance of a horrible real-life television drama. With every pause, Music seemed to confirm the new questions generated by each allegation. The more music was studied, the more difficult it seemed to be. Everybody on the planet was fascinated by the story and wanted to see who would tell it first. Supporters who had previously thought Mendeecees was a family musician in recovery started to suspect everything. As the media frenzy grew, blogs started talking about his earlier disputes, giving music in the contemporary historical context. Every mistake he had ever made was rehashed in online comment sections. Instead of just discussing the case, people were now analyzing his whole personality. "Once a cheater, always a cheater," was one remark. You can't condemn someone's music past while they're trying to change. It seems that a detailed statement detailing the actual circumstances was being prepared by Tamar's staff. Music when one of Tamar's reps purportedly informed a reporter, "Tamar doesn't want this to turn into a circus." Fans started to respond, despite their cautious approach. Another wave of online empathy was sparked by sharing personal stories, tagging her in encouraging remarks, and using hashtags like music #StandWithTamar and #She only wants to be heard and accepted. In the interval, Mendeecees tried to act normally, but he was constantly followed by cameras and music. Tensions started to build. Music simply wants to be acknowledged and heard. One witness Music claimed to have overheard him say something about falsehoods, wrecking his life during a heated phone call outside a restaurant. However, it was unclear if he was speaking to Yandy, his lawyer, or a friend. His self-assured public persona that the audience saw on television was clearly cracking beneath the weight of everything. Insiders said Yandy was turning to her closest friends and family Music, and had been attending therapy to cope with the emotional burden, even though she hadn't disclosed it to the public. Music Many were offended by the notion that a once powerful marriage was ending due to something so vile. Some even went back and commented on her earlier tweets about forgiveness and loyalty, saying things like, "You deserve better, and keep your peace." Another friend said, Yandy music is not herself anymore, trying to be strong for the kids, but this broke something inside her. When a leaked voicemail began circulating online, music tensions increased even further. Music, a woman who sounded like Tamar sobbed with titles like, "Is this Tamar talking about Mendeecees? I just wanted him to leave me alone." However, since Mendeecees had already been found guilty by the music internet and the video was posted on gossip sites, it didn't matter that others thought the movie was fake, and that the music had been altered or removed from its original context, and evidence of harassment music, even though its truthfulness could not be verified. Music Tamer's remarks such as "I would never do something like that," people tend to believe everything they see online, even if I am aware of the reality. I respect all ladies, thus I think highly of him. This story is not me. The management team of Music arranged an exclusive interview with Mendeecees in an attempt to correct the record. Mendeecees talked calmly but firmly and seemed Music worn out. Some observers believed his tone to be phony, while others believed it to be real. "He's crying because he got, not because he is innocent, but rather because he was caught," one commentator wrote. The most shocking development thus far was the release of a document, purportedly from the court system, that contained Tamer's formal complaint. Music, hundreds of recordings and in-person music conversations that painstakingly examined and evaluated every word and paragraph surfaced in a matter of hours, even though lawyers on both sides refused to confirm its authenticity. The email, which detailed a string of unwanted encounters and persistent contact that left her feeling unsafe, caused an even greater frenzy. Fans' hopes for a reunion were dashed when Music Yandy said she's been holding on for years, forgiving him for things that the public music was unaware of. Insiders claimed that Yandy had discussed the music issue with a divorce lawyer and that a decision was imminent. The final straw was when Yan's sympathetic supporters, concerned about the emotional toll this conflict would have on her family, began talking about the couple's children. In the midst of all this public drama, Tamar returned to social media with an enigmatic tweet that said, "The music truth doesn't need defending," and the simple picture of her reflection in a mirror music went viral in a matter of minutes, receiving thousands of comments. Fans flocked to her, and she even started online fundraisers with the stated goal of helping her through the healing music process, despite the fact that they were kept out of the public eye and that Yandy never knew them. A few hours later, Mendeecees wrote, "I'm Music, tired of remaining silent," in a long Instagram story. "False narratives are being created using my name. Many people accuse Tamar of being attention-seeking and playing Music the victim, but she didn't reply to any of the encouraging and supportive comments on her page, leaving everyone to wonder what she would do. My family, Music, and children are exposed to this stuff, but he was also not saved by that message. I have broadcast, but not in this case. I'm begging everyone, Music, to hold off on passing judgment on me until you get more information." For a guy who had established a reputation for control and discipline, this was an unexpected emotional outburst. A plethora of memes and parodies. Tamar was reportedly negotiating a restraining order and damages with her legal team. In only 1 week, Music lost a lot of business relationships and had to postpone an unplanned public appearance. Emerged, mocking his situation and portraying him as a fool, Music, and a criminal beyond everyone's comprehension. With scandal after controversy and the truth getting farther away every day, the story, which had begun as a solitary case, Music has developed into a cultural spectacle, a never-ending narrative of treachery, heartbreak, and public despair. Yandy remained mute while debate shows examined every news story and cameras flashed Music outside choruses. However, her silence spoke more than words, creating an intimate connection that made viewers feel as though they were watching a real-life soap opera. Everyone knew that something was going to happen and that everything would change. A few days later, new speculations that Yandy had officially filed for divorce surfaced, causing the city to plunge into yet another frenzy. Her dark glasses, unreadable expression, and stiff but determined stance were captured on camera as she entered a courtroom. While some fans accused her of exploiting the music situation, others flooded comment sections with heartbreak emojis and phrases like, "She held it together for too long and no woman deserves this." Yandy finally breaks free, and the end of an era, the caption said. People close to Yandy claim that she had been thinking about divorcing for months. Prior to Tamar's music issue becoming known, she was just inspired by this tale. She hasn't been content. A music source claims that the faith has long since vanished. There were rumors that she had found unsettling music texts between Mendeecees and another woman a few weeks prior. It was unclear if they were obscene or passionate, but music was sufficient for Yandy. It was reported that she was now driven by serenity rather than fury. Meanwhile, court records began to surface online, and Tamar's music case officially entered the legal system. Specific incidents purportedly occurring during a late-night hotel seminar were described in great detail. The term Tamar versus Mendeecees was frequently used on all music social media platforms as Tamar's attorneys described a series of unwanted advances and persistent. This is one of the most unexpected celebrity incidents we've seen this year. Despite vocal rejections of attempts to establish physical contact, the men's legal team promptly dismissed the remedies picked up by chat shows. But we have to remember music, these are still allegations. A well-known morning program stated, "You have a beloved R&B singer, a reality TV star, and a marriage falling apart all at once. Sits explosive," observed a different co-host. Sitting in what appeared to be his home office, he was really exhausted, but since nothing had been established yet, the audience didn't really care about his last remark. Music opinions developed once the court filings were extensively disseminated. Mendeecees, wearing a basic black sweatshirt and speaking quietly but passionately, decided to go live on social media for the first time since the problem began. Because they were struggling to keep the dispute under control. He paused and added, "I know people are hurting. To Tamar, I can't let lies ruin me. I know you're in pain too, my wife. Even though I am aware of what is being said about me, I wish you well, music." The live video quickly went viral, attracting hundreds of thousands of people who left both positive and negative comments. "I'm sorry for everything, including the things I didn't do music. I'll overcome this as well. I've faced worse throughout my life." Negative music comments. The largest response came from Tamar herself, who tweeted enough as soon as the live event concluded. "He's just trying to save music his image," one admirer remarked, while another noted, "This dude sounds broken." Even though Yandy made an effort to start over, her silence became a statement in and of itself. Fans shared her prior interviews, in which she talked about loyalty, and said things like, "You can tell it's over when a woman stops talking," which sparked more speculative comments about whether she was reacting to his apologies, or if she was just sick of being the center of attention. The situation worsened when Tamar's legal team held a quick music press conference outside the courthouse. Yandy's loved ones said that she avoided the internet as much as possible, and that music was focused on her children. A friend says that Yandy is currently in survival mode and is not considering social media or celebrity. "Share her truth" became the weekly watchword after the incident's video went viral on all music entertainment channels. It has to do with accountability. When reporters asked if Tamar would testify, her lawyer subtly replied, "The goal of this action is not publicity. My client music has been greatly impacted by this situation, but we are certain that the legal system will handle it appropriately." Other witnesses, including one who supposedly worked at the hotel where the incident was perpetrated, apparently came forward as the story gained popularity. Music leaks claims that the witness heard music and a loud altercation coming from the room,